Welcome, everyone. It's a new episode of Old Roommates. Today on the show, Dirty Dancing with Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey. So get baby out of that corner and join us.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. This is Brian.
And this is Christina. Welcome.
And we're talking today about Dirty Dancing, 1987 massive hit. What?
Massive. No, I was trying to think. I didn't look up the year, so I'm glad you did.
And huge hit. Made for like $4.5 million. It made a kabillion dollars. Not a true, dollar amount, but there you go.
Million trillion?
$1 million bajillion. So huge hit, 1987. Christina, when was the first time you saw this movie?
I want to say I saw it in the movies. I was a big fan of Patrick Swayze, and I remember way back when in 87 or whatever, that when this came out, it was sort of scandalous. Do you remember this? It was very much like I don't know, I don't want to say like a dirty movie, because that's sort of silly because it's Dirty Dancing, but I remember people were sort of upset about it, and so of course that made me want to watch it more than anything.
At first, yeah, I think I remember in the very, very beginning. Well, also, first of all, it's PG-13, so it's like Dirty Dancing, and yeah, I remember like the title being a huge issue, and people have been like, what's that about? And but yeah, I do remember that part of the scandal.
They were rubbing against each other.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved it. I loved this movie. I thought it was great. I loved the soundtrack. And, like I said, I loved Patrick Swayze, and I thought the story was great. And I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I loved it.
So at what point in the hype did you see it?
Like I said, I think I saw it in the movies. So I think it came out
within the hype.
Yeah, right within the hype. I was probably like 19.
Okay. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, because I was
20.
I was 15. Yeah, 87. So, and I remember Entertainment Tonight did this big story about Dirty Dancing because people were seeing it multiple times. And then I remember there was a woman in line, and they're going around like, how many times have you seen it? And she's like, 47.
Oh my
so
gosh,
47
that's a bit
times.
much.
It's a bit much. It's a lot. But yeah, so when I saw this movie, I saw it on VHS, and I was working at a video store then. And I remember when it came out, I took a copy home and I had watched it. And I remember there was one night where I was going to go to the movies with some friends, and they're talking about seeing that. And I forget what we ended up seeing instead. Probably something not as good. But I think Dirty Dancing was sold out. Remember that movie Casual Sex?
Oh yeah, who was in that?
Leah Thompson and
and
Victoria Jackson.
Right.
And
oh my god.
I think Andrew Dice Clay, but I think we ended up seeing. I don't want to be wrong about that. I might be wrong about that. But I think we saw Casual Sex instead of Dirty Dancing or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I could be wrong. But so on VHS, and I watched it. I think like by myself, and I remember liking it, and I didn't think it had lived up to all the hype. And I was like, oh my gosh, like it's a cute movie. I remember being like a teenager and thinking it was like, oh, it's cute. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But then only later, when it kept being on TV and like, cable TV, and it would be on, I would find myself like leaving it on and watching it. And that's when it started clicking to me, like the themes, like her big speech to Daddy. And then I think I went out and I bought the VHS tape, and it was like, it was one of those movies that you could just put on and and like really like and get into all over again. So
yes.
truly, I don't even know how many times I've seen this movie now, because even when we were talking about revisiting it, I remember thinking like, oh, this would be easy, because I feel like I watched this movie. Well, I feel like I've seen this movie enough to even recite it sometimes, like certain parts, and I can recite certain parts that
I
I've done it.
remember. He used to, so for those of you who do not know Brian personally, or maybe just met him or whatever, he he perfectly recited the baby confronting daddy scene,
Yeah.
which was, I mean, always brought great laughter. And then there was the other one when she was in the bedroom with him
The
saying,
very next scene.
yeah, it was the very next scene.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know, you can say it better than I do, but
Yeah. It's basically like, baby, I've been looking for you all over. They caught the Schumachers. They wanted in Florida. No, they fingerprinted the glasses. They're wanted in Arizona, Florida. They made a fortune here this summer. And that was the whole thing. She's like, you're right, Johnny. You can't win no matter what you do. And
she
just,
stomps
it was
across.
like two amazing dialogue-y scenes right after. And Jennifer Grey is splendid in both of them.
She's so good. She was the perfect person for this role.
Yeah. So
I'm going to interrupt you for just a second.
Yeah.
Is there, your voice is coming across a little strange. Is there like a pillow or something covering your speaker? And it's not terrible, but I'm wondering if there's anything blocking.
I'm going to loosen the pop filter. Maybe I was too close. I was very close to the mic. Is this better now? No.
It seems to be. It seems to be a little bit better.
All right, just tell me when and I can readjust.
Okay, no, it seems to be okay now, I think.
All right.
Well, I guess our listeners will let us know.
I wonder if I should put the pop filter in front of my mouth.
On your face.
Instead of on the phone.
Do you have pantyhose? That's what my pop filter is right here.
But you know, we made COVID face masks. We did a bandana. We did the bandana and the two hair ties, whatever.
Good idea.
And it worked great. I used them today to get the donuts.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
But yeah. So,
anyway, sorry for interrupting.
Immediate thoughts on your rewatch and your revisit.
So my rewatch, I will say, it was like being transported back into time, and I truly enjoyed it again. Like, I was trying to be critical because I was trying to look at it through my middle-aged lens.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
It was tough to criticize because I just really enjoyed it. It could be the nostalgia part, who knows? But I really enjoyed it. I feel like a lot of the, like you say, like the dialogue, I had seen it so many different times. Like you and I could probably recite this whole movie. And so a lot of it was, just, knowing what was happening. And I don't know, I just feel like I've seen it so many times, it was hard to look at it even from a critical standpoint. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I thought the acting was great. I thought it was really funny. Like, one of the things I really like about this movie is it really moved along at a good clip for me. And I felt like there was enough things, there were enough different things going on that it kept it interesting throughout the whole movie, between like the music and the dancing, obviously, but even like the little things, like the relationship with her and her sister, and her, like in her sister and Robbie, and like some of the fun extra things that I didn't really forget about it, but I think maybe I appreciated it a little bit more now, just looking at it more closely.
Completely agree.
Love it.
Completely agree. And Christina, the weirdest word hit me, like I was watching it. So I watched it last night. No, I'm sorry. 2 nights ago. 2 nights ago. Yeah. And like, it's weirdly wholesome. Like it's weirdly scandal free. And I don't know if that's because of time.
Yes.
In dance, and we see so much dancing now on TV all the time anyway.
And even on the dance floor when you go to a club, like,
yeah, right.
We're raunchier now, just in real life. One of the things I actually wrote down was scenes used to be so steamy, not too bad now. Definitely sexy, but not like scandalous.
They felt PG-13 to me. Like they felt PG in some ways. I mean, like, there I think a lot of it is Jennifer Grey. Like, she is able to do that sort of like wide-eyed innocence without being annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's inquisitive. Like, we've seen so many movies since then where the lead actress is very or lead actor for that matter, or like when they have to play that kind of a role, they're very like awkward and weird and goofy and like over emoting and like oh and like they're shocked by everything.
I'm gonna look
And
blue-eyed
she's
now.
like, right, exactly, and she's inquisitive and she's curious and like, but she's a person. Like, you feel like she's
Truly.
just like, she's the person who's like learning something new. And the performance is very, 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 very good. But I mean, you mentioned the sister, her relationship with her sister. I like that. And I liked it all over again. The relationship that got me this time was really the Penny character. I just always thought it was more of a contrivance for the plot. Like, oh, it's just this, the dancer, and she gets pregnant, and that's the catalyst for Baby and Johnny having to be together, which is true.
Right.
But the character of Penny is much more interesting to me this time around.
Yeah,
like,
it's so much more like developed.
It is. It's more developed. Well, I mean, it hasn't changed, but we've changed. So
right.
It's like you get this idea of like, you see her crying on the floor. You see, she's very hard. Like when at one point Baby says, "I envy you," and she doesn't even say anything back and just walks away.
What did she say? No, she said something, but it wasn't.
Baby says to, well, I wrote it down. So Baby says to Penny, Baby says to Penny, she has the luggage, and she's like, "I envy you." And Penny was just like, oh God, like she couldn't even be bothered. And I think that's the right response for that character. I also really liked when Penny criticizes Johnny, like, Johnny, what are you doing? And because that adds a layer, like, but the acting, and it's Cynthia Rhodes, right? Is her name Cynthia Rhodes?
Richard Martin's wife.
Yeah, that's right. She's an amazing dancer, and this performance is a really solid supporting performance. And I also liked the little scene where Penny is helping Baby with her posture, and then the three of them are dancing together.
Yes.
And just the seamlessness of that, and you like, they're almost all kind of acknowledging like what's at stake if she doesn't get this right.
Yes, her eyes speak volumes, because she's locked eyes with Johnny, and they're both just sort of looking at each other like, you can tell they have like a very deep friendship, and and a lot is riding on it, and exactly.
But that little scene, which is put to like hungry eyes, which like if there's any sort of knock against the movie, I do feel like the new songs created for the movie do not sound like songs from the 60s, like,
true,
at all.
Mostly the last one.
Oh, you know what?
I've had the time of your life.
I respectfully disagree, because it's Bill Medley, and he did a lot of, like did a lot of older songs, so I feel like it made sense. That didn't bother me as much as
that was one that always stood out.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Hungry Eyes stood out for me.
Interesting.
More than. Do you hear that? I can't even deal. It's Shorty again, but he's screaming his lungs out. But it doesn't matter. So.
That's to him.
But I liked that montage, because as an adult you're like, oh shit, this has to work, or else they're all out of work. Penny will be exposed, and then they're going to lose their money. And so I liked. Sorry. And
next year's gig.
Exactly. So I like that it's all. As much as it's put to a montage, it really has to work. And I felt that differently as an adult than I did when I was a 16-year-old person.
Right.
But to your point, going back to your point, I loved it all over again.
Yeah, it's a good flick. And I guess that's it for this episode.
I did take quite some notes.
Yeah, I did too. What was kind of funny? I sort of forgot the beginning narration from her. Did you remember that?
I remembered it.
For some reason I forgot it, and I was like, I actually wrote narration ? And I remembered it eventually, because I remember that line where it says, "They called me baby, and it didn't occur to me to mind, which I like
Yeah.
that. I like that line. But I wrote next to him, I'm really glad it stopped. Like, it would have been a different movie if she was like narrating through the whole thing, right?
Yes.
So that
Yeah.
was,
I actually wondered if it even needed it.
I don't think it did.
I mean, it's a minor point, but I don't think it needed it, because to your point, it's dropped. Like, as soon as it's done, it never comes back. What I didn't remember or didn't notice, two things and it's the same scene. It's for when you first see Johnny, and he's wearing sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
It's nighttime. So remember, she walks up to the thing in that the owner, Hellerman. No, what's it called? Kellerman says, listen, you flirt with the girls, even the dogs.
Oh. Seriously, this is one of my criticisms. He is so angry. Like,
also,
calm down.
He's a jerk. Well, he's also a jerk. Like, I don't know why the dad, who's so nice, he's like, even likes him. Because at one point he's like, come on, Neil, you're gonna see how it feels to fire somebody. And I'm like, ew.
You sound just like him.
Thanks.
And Neil, how swarmy.
Yeah, it's like, what does he have that, 2 hotels?
Hotels. And he's
God.
like, thinks that he's so cool, and he's such a geek. No offense to any geeks out there. I do like geeks, but as long as you're nice to people. He reminded me, he was just, I think, I don't know what kind of actor he is, but he did a really good job of just being gross and blech.
Yeah. Yeah. But another really funny part with that owner, and I recited it to Carl before it happened. I was like, he has that lisp thing with it, and it always drove me nuts every time I watch it when he has to sing at the end, and he's like, so now join in the chorus, visit Earth staff and guests. And I'm like,
it was so awful. It's so awful.
The way he says guests or guest is like, it's like one of those, like, it's like, I don't know. I don't know why.
Always bothered me too, Brian. It's
why?
So annoying.
Because he's a jerk.
Yeah.
If he was a nice guy, I would find it endearing. But if you're a jerk and you like kind of that spitty, gross angle to your voice, he doesn't care
that he's spitting on everybody.
Yeah. It's not right. Oh, but going back to Johnny. So we first meet him. So remember, Baby runs up to the thing, and she hears him talking to the owner, to all the staff, right?
Yes.
And then Johnny walks over, and I didn't catch this the first time. First of all, he's wearing sunglasses. It's nighttime. The second thing, he knocks napkins off the table.
Oh, yeah, intentionally, because he was talking to, was Robbie, right? When he was
Robbie,
talking to Robbie. Yeah. And he's just like,
keep your pickle on your
plate. On the plate. Let me handle the dirty
hard stuff.
The hard stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he knocks the napkins over in a little sign of defiance.
Yeah, but I'm like, that's kind of rude.
It was, but I mean, you're supposed to think he's like the bad guy, right? At this point, we think that Robbie's the good guy, and we think that
at that point, we're guy. Like,
so they're trying to just, lead us astray, I suppose, with his attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, even now, I didn't quite understand why Kellerman? Why Kellerman, so Penny and Johnny are dancing at the club.
Yeah.
The country club.
Dance. Yeah.
The dance, and everyone makes a circle around them. The crowd is going wild. And he's like, cut it. And I'm like, not a good business move.
Well, like, Neil starts the conversation with Baby, and he's like, oh, they shouldn't be showing off like that. That's not going to sell lessons. So there must have been some sort of a rule, maybe, is what I was thinking, because he mentioned it first. And then when Kellerman sees them, he's like mad that they're doing that. But I don't know why.
So I don't know what Right. I don't know what the broken rule was. Was it that they weren't supposed to be selling dance lessons?
No, I think they were trying, like, they weren't supposed to be dancing with each other. I
Oh.
think that's what the rule was.
Oh.
You'll have to ask Kellerman.
But but Christina, if you were running Kellerman's and the crowd was clapping and making a circle and going ooh ah, would you cut it short?
No, I would not.
I don't think I would. I think I would have let it go on a little bit longer.
Yeah, me too.
Or you establish real rules. I didn't know what the and you are, I'm assuming, speculating that rule.
Yes.
That they shouldn't dance yet. So you don't know.
Right. Well, when I worked at Kellerman's, that was the rule. But I didn't dance with Johnny so seductively.
I would love to work at Kellerman's.
Oh my gosh. So one of the first notes that I say, not only work, just go there. Like the place was gorgeous. So it looked so much fun, so much to do, the lake, and it just looked like such a great place to be.
So, I'm turning 50 in a couple of years. Oh my God. And a year and 10 months. A couple years. And
over a year.
And I would love to go there. The only thing is the lake dried up.
The lake is no longer there. How sad is that? So Brian and I both watched. Yeah, right. You can go ahead.
Oh, really quick. There's a great little 1-hour documentary on Netflix called The Movies That Made Us. And they talk about Dirty Dancing. In this place, Kellerman's, which is called the Mountain Lake Lodge or Lake.
Right. Something
lodge. The lake has dried up. So everything else is pristine and still in place. But the lake,
they even have it set up like in the movie, like
the cinder blocks.
They have like the dining room is still set up the same way, so it's kind of like visiting the movie. But it was so sad when she went out to that, the gazebo, and she said the only thing that's missing is the lake.
Yeah,
lake dried up, and it was really sad seeing that.
Yeah. I'm assuming the lake dried up. I mean, I don't know what else could have happened to it. How does a leak disappear?
I'm assuming it dried out. I don't think anybody stole the water.
She's like, the lake is gone. I'm like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
I did so let me tell you some of the things that I didn't really notice the first million times around. I liked Home of the Family Foxtrot.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
That made me laugh. I liked that. I also liked there's like the announcements over the intercom, and one of them says, join us at 8:00 for, I'm going to say, Joey the insult comic. I'm like, no, wait a minute, it's a family place. They forbid any kind of provocative dancing, but let's bring in an insult comic.
Oh, we can insult you, yeah.
Yeah, let's kind of make fun of everyone.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, it was 8:00. All the kids were in bed, I guess, right?
You would hope. Things I still am impressed by. I really loved the kid with the watermelons. How he almost.
Oh my gosh, I have that as a note. Like it amazed me when I first saw it, and it amazed me again every time I see it. It is impressive. Flawless how he almost drops the watermelon. He catches it just like it's so real, like
multiple times.
It's so good. It's so good. He's great.
Yeah, he's great. And I did love when Baby's finally dancing with Johnny a little bit, and Johnny walks away, and she's still kind of
she's still getting down,
dancing.
Like finally getting into it.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those moments that rests on like the likability of Jennifer Grey in this movie, because I think it wouldn't have worked with a lot of other people, but it works with her. You're kind of like you're her in that moment. It's really cute.
Well, and I love how she, one of my favorite lines from her is, "I carried a watermelon."
Yeah. Like
when she says, "Oh, I carried a watermelon," and then she's like, "Oh, I carried a watermelon." Like I could totally see me doing that. Like, why did I say that? So dumb, so stupid. Really cute. Yeah, I really thought that she was the perfect person for this role. She was like just pretty enough, not too pretty, awkwardness about her, but also believable in that, someone could fall for her because of her, and let's face it, I mean, he fell for her because of her personality and because of, who she was. She was so, such a stand-up person, such a good person. And I really liked that too. And he wasn't probably used to meeting people like that. He's probably used to meeting people that were very superficial.
well, her helping Penny was sort of no strings attached, but just about being good was a different thing for him because he's so used to being used that he thought there was something else going on with her generosity.
Right.
And you know, there wasn't. So I did like the the bungalow bunny, the older woman with the black hair.
Yes.
So original casting, I believe this is true. Baby's mom, the redhead, was the original Bungalow Bunny,
Really?
but the actress that played that played Baby's mother got sick or had a fight with something happened where she had to leave the set, and they were like, well, we need, you know, we have a lot of dancers, so we need someone that whatever, and they took the redhead, the Bungalow Bunny, and put her as Baby's mom, and then moved. I think one of the, I guess, because that woman, the Bungalow Bunny, is a professional dancer.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think she was even in Xanadu.
So it's funny. I actually took a picture of the dancers.
Yeah.
The names of the dancers to look it up, but
Okay.
that's not who you were thinking of. When you were saying that in Xanadu, I was thinking of somebody else.
Oh.
But I'll have to look up that name because I was planning on looking it up and I couldn't find that any of the dancers' names on Xanadu. But I'll have to look up that particular name.
Yeah, I think I'm right about that. I could be wrong, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
No,
but
it happens sometimes.
There's one funny part where, unintentionally funny, where Baby sees her sister emerging from the woods with Robbie.
Mm-hmm.
And she's all upset, right? And Baby just like watches her walk by. Bye. Like, when you check on your sister?
Well, then she used that as an excuse a few minutes later when she saw Cynthia Rose Penny in the kitchen. She's I really should check on my sister. So I think that she couldn't have reacted if she was going to use that as an excuse later. I think it was a flaw in the writing department, though. I think that she should have had more of a reaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but that's fine. I'm wondering, so one of the things that I did make a note of is they did not look anything alike. Like whoever was doing the casting, I always was wondering, like, why did they choose her? Like, they not even a little bit alike.
And I wondered what the original mother looked like.
And that's what I'm thinking too. Just after the story, I didn't know the story before today, but I wonder if the original mom looked more like sister.
But that always sort of bothered me. I was like, they don't look anything.
That always kind of bothered me too.
Yeah,
so different from each other. And maybe it was an intended thing because they are very different in personality. Maybe they were just trying to make it more of a stark difference.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. But
I loved when after the Penny stuff is all at a frenzy when Baby's finding out everything about Penny being pregnant and all that, and Robbie, and I love when Penny says, "Baby, is that your name?
Is that what they call you? I think that's.
You know what, baby?
Is that what they call you?
You know what, baby? You don't know shit about my problems. Oh my God!" And then she said, "Oh, it's Robbie." And Baby's like, "Oh, that's great. We'll just tell Robbie." And da 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 da. And she's like, "He knows." And the look on Baby's face, like,
it's like, what?
People are.
She's
awful.
never had that. She's never had that experience. So it's so funny. Like she's never known an awful person, and they've probably never known a good person.
That's exactly right. So. Like she's like, what? Someone isn't accountable right now. But yeah, it's I liked that, and I noticed it more now. Mm-hmm. But I think even Penny's whole arc was like something that resonated stronger to me, being older than back then, for sure.
You want to know my favorite scene of Penny's?
Sure.
You're gonna laugh because it was very, very minor. At the very end of the movie, last like 2 minutes of the movie, you see her hugging Baby's father and like thanking him. And it is so genuine and sweet, and just they did not need to put that in there.
Yeah.
But they did, and it provided so much kind of closure for me in that relationship. It wasn't just him, you know, kind of fixing what had happened and that's done. It was like they really kind of they made more of that relationship near the end of the movie. Like it was really nice. It was beautiful. It was like a beautiful little moment.
Yeah.
You don't see what they're saying, you just see like a hug and like a genuine caring for each other.
Yep.
It was nice.
I agree.
Let's see what else. Let's see. So she meets him, she dances with him awkwardly. I liked that scene a lot. I think we talked about that already. But I will say, like, one thing that did kind of stick out that I didn't really think about when I was younger was that place. It looked like it stunk to high heaven. All those sweaty dancers. It was small. It was dark. I don't think it was smoky. I don't think they were smoking or anything, but it just looked like they all stunk.
Christina, my thing was with that scene was I'm like, oh, they're just like, I don't know. It's like I honestly my thought was like, I don't think any of them are having sex after this. Like I feel like
right?
I just felt something about it felt almost like
it
was just kind of like, okay, like they're getting their thrills, like they're just kind of like, it's almost like making out in a basement, like at a basement party. It's like I didn't think it, and that's what I mean by like the wholesomeness. I was like, it's not really all that scandalous or scintillating. No. It's like, oh, they're just like making out while they're dancing kind of thing. Like I don't know, it was, but that was my thing. I was like, what's the big deal?
Yeah, but I remember it being a big deal when I first saw it. Do you remember it being a big deal when you first saw it? What's going on over here?
I think, I don't know if I thought it was that crazy. I don't think it's as crazy as it thinks it is. I don't know. I don't remember being shocked, because I remember even then, after it was over, I was like, oh, I liked it. It was cute.
Yeah.
I don't remember being like, oh my God, it was so hypersexual and watch out.
Well, I will say, I don't think that last scene when he's like, I always dance the last dance and someone told me not to. So I'm going to dance my way or whatever. And I didn't think his way was much different than how he was dancing with Penny. Like it was actually the same routine.
I was going to say, I actually don't think his way of dancing is the dirty dancing. Like, I think it was like, it's the Penny dance, and it's the other dance to do with Baby at the other, like the performance dance. Yeah. And I think they said that even in that documentary too, that there were three worlds: the dirty dancing, the ballroom or sort of dancing, like the upper, regular dancing. And then there's like the exhibition dancing, which was what Johnny and Penny were doing to sort of pull them out of where they were.
Sure.
And so I think that was the dancing Johnny wanted to do. But yeah, when he said that,
I interpreted it differently as a young person. Like, oh, cool,
100%.
he's gonna dirty dance up on the stage
in front of everyone's parents.
And I didn't notice it that much, even in front of all your parents.
He's gonna prove everyone. He's gonna prove the boss right, and that this dance is gonna be tasteless. Oh God, I have quite some notes. I'm trying to read them with my setup over here.
Yeah. I know, right?
We never finished the Penny speech, where she basically says, "Go back to your playpen, baby."
Oh yeah. She was a bitch. But she was having a hard time.
She was having a hard time. Neil's a piece of shit.
Oh my God. Who do you hate less, Neil or Robbie?
I think I hated Robbie. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. I have to think about that.
If you had to go on a date with one or the other.
If I had to go on a date with one of them?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Ugh.
I know, they're both so gross.
Probably Robbie.
Yeah, I think so too. Because the thing is, like with Neil, he's just like so, ugh. Like,
he doesn't talk about himself.
He thinks he is just awesome. And he's just such a little twerp.
I also think he would just talk about himself and his family
That's all
and
he
the
ever
money
did.
they have. It's so obnoxious. Like I
So
wouldn't.
obnoxious.
So that's yeah. The I really liked even more now the Sylvia Mickey scene where they're crawling on
Oh,
the
I love
floor
that
because
one.
I was like, this could be so corny and bad,
Mhm.
like bomb movie bad, like a D. But instead, it's like it could have been laughable, but it's actually super cute and kind of amazing and really fun. But I think what
Really
happens,
fun.
and it's smart because what it establishes is like this playfulness that as they get closer, like they've already had their situation going on,
Right.
but like it's playful, and then as they get closer and closer, it becomes less playful. And what they and I think what establishes like they're forgetting themselves, like they're forgetting where they're at because suddenly you hear Neil
Yes.
and they jump a mile away,
Hmm.
and it just shows how their affair is getting sloppy.
Yes. So what's funny about actually this time, as opposed to last, when I was younger or whatever, um, for some reason I felt like there was a longer period of time when they were like dating and whatever, sleeping together after the dance, like the performance that they had to have. For some reason,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it lasted that long. It
Okay.
was a lot longer, and I appreciated it. I liked it. I'm like, oh, good. They did actually establish something. It wasn't like, for some reason, I was thinking it was like more of like a one night after their performance and maybe like just a little bit after, but it actually
Yeah.
was it was pretty substantial.
Are you hearing feedback from me?
No.
No. Okay. Cool. All right.
Are you hearing feedback from
I
me?
heard no. I heard a little bit of my own voice come back to me. Um, it's okay.
Yeah.
So what was funny, what you just said about how the affair keeps going. How about when Baby, and I definitely didn't remember this. I didn't remember the chronologicalness of it, where Baby's father says, "You are not to hang out with any of those people ever again." She goes back home, walks right back out, and goes to Johnny's.
Seconds, literally seconds later.
I
Like
was like,
such a
that's
disrespect.
that's pretty ballsy.
That was very ballsy.
Yeah.
But you know what though? In her defense, like up until that moment, it appeared to me that she had a lot of freedom in her house because her father really trusted her.
Mm-hmm.
And so like that whole relationship, like between her and her father, I loved that relationship so much. And
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was a little bit more understanding to him
Mm-hmm.
this time around than I was originally. Um, I just thought it was such a beautiful relationship. You could tell they adored each other.
Mm-hmm.
He was so proud of her and trusted her. What a nice guy. Like, who didn't want
Mm-hmm.
him as a dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Totally nice guy. And, and he trusted her. And, she clearly had earned the trust. And I think what I missed last time when I watched it was that the abortion that she was borrowing the money for was
Mm-hmm.
illegal. And I think that I missed that. And this time I'm like, oh, that's right. He did ask her if it was illegal, and she said, no, daddy. So it was such a different way of looking at it, because when I first saw it, her no daddy, like there's definitely there's a reaction in that
Yeah.
no daddy.
Yeah.
And when I had first seen it, it was more of a no, of course not daddy. And now when I'm watching it as an adult or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, there is sort of like a hesitation, like, no, daddy. Like that's the first time she ever lied to him.
Yeah.
And that was definitely new for me this time, like seeing that part of it and noticing and like, oh my gosh, so that I get it now. I thought he overreacted before, but now it's because she lied about the illegal activity that was
Mm-hmm.
happening.
What I liked about him yelling at her too is that it felt right for them, that he wasn't rubbing her nose and everything. It was just kind of like, I'm disappointed, I don't know who you are. And that felt real because he truly didn't even know what to say,
True.
because she
Yes.
wasn't that kind of daughter.
And that's definitely something that, like, how my father fought with me. I mean, we didn't fight very often, truly, but when he did, it was definitely that I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah.
And that, like, that cut you.
When that kills way more
Oh,
than being yelled at for an hour.
right? He would never raise his voice, but he would be like,
Yeah.
I expected more from you. It's
Mm-hmm.
disappointing. And I'm like, oh. And what's great about it is that it really carries through realistically, because now he's giving her this silent treatment, and she's
Mm-hmm.
feeling it, and she can't. I think that she's hesitant in trying to win him back because she knows that she's still doing stuff that he's
Yes.
disapproving of, and they're really caught. Like, they can't even relate to each other anymore. Like, they don't even
Well,
want to have a conversation.
she has that big moment in the gazebo,
Mhm.
and she pours her whole heart out, and he doesn't stop her, he doesn't interrupt, and she walks away, and he doesn't even go after her, he just cries. And
Oh,
like, that was super sad.
oh
And
my
like,
God.
but
One of my favorite moments of the whole movie. He was
that
great in that moment. You really feel his pain. You really feel
I
it.
and I liked that they kept cutting back to him
Mm-hmm.
as she's talking, and like, because I just felt that scene and that speech and her acting, and it was very tempered until she just couldn't control her emotions anymore. But it felt, and I think that's why it kind of resonates. Like, it's just like, it's such a perfect scene. And when I was watching with Carl, and he noticed that the gazebo, as she's walking up, a bunch of leaves fall.
Interesting.
And it is this idea of like time, and like time passing, and
Mhm.
maturity, and seasons changing, and people changing, and like, and it kind of was like this sort of, not foreshadowing, but symbolic of like, that she is a different person, that she's growing,
Mm-hmm.
she's growing, things change. And I thought, and it was just
Change.
so well done, and really, really well. I've always loved that scene, but I think I love it even more as time goes on.
Yeah, I really loved it this time around for sure, especially knowing that I was sort of siding on on his side a little bit more.
Oh, at the same, honestly, when I for the, I think I still get it. It would be weird not to get where the dad's coming from. I
Right.
mean, like, your perfect daughter, who's just means so well, gets mixed up with these like dancers, and there's abortions, and people like, and like
Right.
punks, and attitude, and and like, it's like, who would want their daughter associating with these
Well, and
people?
that's why I didn't have a huge problem with it when I first saw it, because I get that. I got all
Mhm.
that. I could understand why he was upset that she's hanging around with the wrong people, right? And
Yeah.
just going out late and getting involved with this, like, basically like, grown man, right? I mean, he's got to be, what do you think, like mid-20s? And she's maybe 17, right?
Yeah, I think that's so. I
Somewhere
read
around
that
there?
she's supposed to be, I think, 16, 17. Yeah, because
Yeah.
she was, oh shit, she was 26 when she made the movie.
Well, and she was saying she was planning on going to the Peace Corps.
Oh, she's 28. So say 16, between 16 and 18.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But anyway, I mean,
yeah.
for his point of view, that is really what I felt like he was upset about. And I gave him complete, okay, great, I would be upset too. But then when you add in that she lied, because
Mm-hmm.
me, that is huge for me. Like, if my daughter lied to me, that's like a huge, like, how do you get that back?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's really tough as a parent for your child to lie to you. And I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
she has. I'm not saying she hasn't, but
Mm-hmm.
but um but that got me more this time around. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's like added a layer.
Yeah,
Added a layer
yeah.
to why he was upset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jerry Orbach, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Was awesome. But I will say, the very next scene when Johnny gets baby and explains about the Schumachers, I will say, I don't know how much time had gone by, but they fingerprinted the glasses, and I'm like, that is the fastest investigation I've ever heard of,
Yeah, it was literally like hours.
based only on baby accusing them.
Right. But he was actually, they were going to fire Johnny based solely on the woman. She's the one that
True.
said, he's been both places or whatever.
Yeah.
So he was going to be fired just based on that. Like, so all this happened within a matter of 10 hours? Come on.
Kellerman's has an investigation team on staff. But that was like, wait, they fingerprinted the glasses? Because then wouldn't they, the Schumachers have had their fingerprints on file? I mean, like, it's
Right?
just something about it was.
Yeah, it was a little bit off. There was a little bit of, yeah. That didn't quite.
That was
quite.
That was good. When Robbie went up to Baby while she was touching Johnny, and he's like, "Oh, I guess I picked the wrong sister." Hey, what do you say to her? You're like,
"It's okay. I went slumming myself." Or something
myself.
Like that.
Oh, which meant Penny.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, in my heart, I was like, and I of course remember the scene, but I was like, kill him.
Seriously, beat the shit out of him.
I wanted him just to get completely, and I remembered him going, "You're not worthy," and I remember all that, of course.
Right.
But I did want
really
maybe
get a few more punches in.
A few more beatings. Yeah.
Because he was really sticking up for both, right? I mean,
That's right.
It was, Robbie was just a piece of shit.
Oh, you know something else? I didn't catch this the multiple times. I caught it this time, and maybe it's because, well, I won't go there. But when Baby says to Johnny that, "Why do you let Neil talk to you that way? And why don't you fight back?" And I'm like, and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to, whatever." But I thought it was pretty clear why he couldn't fight back against Neil. Neil already threatened an entire next season of work.
Yeah.
If he didn't listen to Neil. So it's like, Baby's right there. She's hearing him. Like, how much?
I feel a little bit, I mean, I kind of chalked it up to her still being like naive about what could really happen. And, she hasn't really needed to work for anything. I don't think she really understood the severity of what could happen, even if he lost the job,
mm-hmm.
That sort of thing.
I guess so, yeah. And then I think it ties in nicely because he's like, "Oh, I don't see you sticking up to your, to your dad about Johnny." So
yeah. The other thing that bothered me, I forget what it was kind of near the beginning of the movie or something, where Penny said something like, "Well, now she's going to run off to her hotel management boyfriend," or something like that. And she never corrected them to say, "He's not my boyfriend." That really irked me. Like, tell him it's not your boyfriend. Like, why don't you let them believe it's your boyfriend?
Yeah, true.
That bothered me. I really hated Neil.
He was really awful.
Yeah, I actually forgot about him a little bit. I did forget about him, and then when he showed up, I was like, ugh, that's right, him. I really liked the first hookup scene. I thought it was done really, really well. After when they first, hooked up, after everything had happened, and she went back to his place, and she's like, "Just dance with me," and they just started slow dancing. I liked that it was really just a sexy dance. Like, there really wasn't any nudity except for when he took her shirt off, right? Yeah. And he, of course, was topless.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any like kissing. There was one kiss during that whole like dance. It was all just smooth, touching, sexy, and it was really cool how they did that. I really appreciated that they were using the dancing as a way of them hooking up. Like, it's just sort of like another aspect of the dancing, but it wasn't like raunch.
What I liked about that scene is the very, very beginning where she knocks on the door and he opens the door. Her face at seeing him like shirtless, even though they had, they'd seen each other, and like, I think because the water scene, right, was before that, yeah. So, but he opens the door, and if you look at Baby's face or Jennifer Grey's face, like, she almost sort of like checks him out. Like, it's very subtle, but she is truly reacting to him being shirtless. And I think she's like, "Oh God." Like, and it was just, it was so subtle, but I really appreciated that. And it's something I didn't notice before. I will say one thing. Did Penny tell people not to? Okay. Why didn't Baby tell her dad that it was Robbie who
Yeah,
got Penny pregnant?
that always bothered me. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I
Did
don't know why
Penny
she
say,
didn't
maybe
even.
Penny said, don't tell anyone it was Robbie because we're not supposed to
Right.
congregate
But
with.
for her to even just say it wasn't Johnny. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, even taking it to like it was Robbie,
Like, yeah.
but even just like saying it wasn't Johnny, I don't know. Maybe it just speaks to her really not having a voice with her dad now. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It annoyed me then. It annoys me now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, of course, we wouldn't have had that scene of Johnny awkwardly going up to him with his, stupid glasses again
Mm-hmm.
and trying to, explain himself and getting shot down. We wouldn't have had that scene if Baby was like, no, it was Robbie.
True. Well, and there needs to be that tension there as to why why her dad isn't supportive of this.
Right.
I did like when they are saying goodbye during She's Like the Wind.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, I'll never be sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, neither will I. And I thought that was a really sweet scene.
Yes, I thought it was very sweet too. I don't know why they didn't exchange like phone numbers or anything, but that's fine.
Yeah.
And of course, She's Like the Wind by Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
And what I didn't realize, so when we were watching the movie when I was watching with Matt, he said, I think he knew that it was from Patrick Swayze, but then he was like, so was this written for the movie? And I said, yes, because I thought that was true. And what I learned later with that documentary that you mentioned earlier,
Mm-hmm.
that he had written it earlier. Like he had it in his back pocket or whatever. And when they were looking for music, he submitted it to, I guess, the director or the producer, said, I have this song. What do you think? And they just found that it was perfect. So I thought that was kind of cool trivia that I learned last night or this morning. What did I watch? So Brian, before we go any further, do you want to take a short break?
Please. I need water. Yeah.
Me too. All right. So we will be right back with more Dirty Dancing.
Yay.
And we're back.
Talking
Welcome
about
back.
Dirty Dancing.
And I really don't have a whole lot more to add to our conversation.
Me neither. A little bit about the documentary that is so worth watching, but it's funny though about that the backup or the sort of the runners up for these roles were Sarah Jessica Parker,
of course,
as Baby, and Billy Zane as Johnny.
He was close to getting it. I was surprised,
but he couldn't dance.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We definitely recommend that documentary. Like it was
it's so
really
good. And it's short. It's short.
It's an hour long.
What I really liked is I think it talks about the creative process a lot. And it's not so much about Jennifer Grey or Patrick Swayze. It's really not so much about them.
No,
it's
really
about
it's a little bit about it, but not much.
A little bit. But it's really about getting this movie made. And they were rejected. The script was rejected by 40 different studios and production companies.
That they kept at it. It's really
well, she had to, because if she didn't, what they said in the documentary is she only had because the person that optioned the script got fired, she had 1 year to get the movie made, or else she would lose the rights to the studio. So that's why she was
about that, yeah.
But I loved those women. I loved Eleanor.
So great.
Oh my God, they just seemed like cool chicks. Like I loved Eleanor. I loved the woman with the black hair. Like it's a really fun documentary.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's great. You really enjoyed it. You will enjoy
but anyway, but I love Dirty Dancing all the more. It's such a great movie. It feels so complete. It's like it's wholesome. Its heart is in the right place. Yeah. Like it is a nice movie.
And the characters are great.
Yeah.
The characters are great. Even we didn't really talk too much about her mom, a little bit, but even her mom is really great. Like, she was kind of a nobody to me when I first saw it, and not much of a role, but I see how that played in now, like how important it was for her to not have much of a role. Or a voice, because it was the 50s and she was very much like, okay,
60s.
Dear.
It was 63.
60s.
Yeah.
But like, okay, dear, whatever you say, dear. He's leaving in the middle of the night, and she's like, where are you going? Oh, don't worry about it. She just goes back to sleep, no problem. and then at the very end, when she says, sit down.
Yeah.
Like, that was a great little moment for her.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just, the characters are great. Definitely recommend. And it holds up.
Oh, well, you know what's smart is that, and I think, like, it's an 80s movie about the 60s. So it has, I mean, it's, in a sense, it will always essentially hold up because it's trying to be a time capsule of a certain place and time. And so it's already, it starts off as a flashback. I think it will always, it'll be one of those movies that just sort of always resonates in my mind. I think it's just so good. It's so good.
Yeah. So you ready for your questions?
I am.
So I have an FMK for you.
Okay. I'm ready.
You want to be for, okay, I'll go first. So I don't know. I was going to go one way and I decided on another. I feel like I've been nice to you with my FMKs lately. So.
If you think so.
I thought, well,
good. All right, fine.
If you think about the last one we did, it was pretty good. I'm not going to spoil things for the listeners.
Okay.
Although you probably have already heard it anyway. Anyway, so my FMK today is Neil, Robbie, and the watermelon guy. I forget his name.
Cut it out. I thought you were going to say Mr. Kellerman.
You know what I almost said? I almost said Mr. Schumacher. But no, I thought I'd
Neil,
watermelon guy.
Robbie, watermelon man. I was going to give you Johnny, Dad, the baby's dad, and watermelon man.
Those are good choices.
So, yeah, they're all good. That's why I think it'd be even tougher. So I'm going to say, I have to kill. So here's what this is. I think almost easy. Then I'm going to kill Neil. I just can't. I don't care. I don't care about anything involving him. And then I would marry Watermelon Man. What a fun guy. Fun, nice, smiley, cute, very cute. He can dance. And then I would F Robbie.
Yeah, that's what I said that you would do. That was a pretty easy one.
Yeah. And just hope I wouldn't get pregnant. So my question to you, oh, wait, sorry, what did you say?
I said the same thing for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that do you agree with that for yourself?
100%.
So my question to you is Robbie focused, and it's a true match game.
Ooh, okay.
Robbie.
Are you gonna get the paper ready to hold up?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Robbie the waiter is so sleazy.
How sleazy is he?
Thank you for asking. On a first date, he doesn't bring flowers. He brings blanks.
I got it. I got it already. I just have to get it. I think that we're gonna have the same. I think we're gonna match.
Okay.
I can see what you're writing.
What?
I'm just kidding.
All right.
Go on.
So you go. I go first.
You ask the question. You ask the question again.
Okay. Robbie the waiter is so sleazy.
How sleazy is he?
On a first date, instead of bringing flowers, he brings blanks.
Condoms.
Good answer. Good answer.
Thank you very much.
I was going to say condoms. However, there's, the plural. So I was like, well,
I did condoms.
I know.
I wanted to do it more than once.
I'm really sorry. I said
roofies. That's okay. Excellent answer.
Oh no, I have
Excellent.
a low battery.
Oh no. Okay, hold on. Let me cue up the
Okay.
music because I forgot I had to do this.
20%. This was fun.
This was really,
I
really
love
fun.
Dirty Dancing.
Me too. Hold on.
Good times. Well, everyone, thanks
Oh,
for
shoot.
listening
Hold
or
on.
watching.
Wait,
Okay.
I'm trying to find the music. Oh boy, this is why I don't do it. Okay, hold on. Oh, okay. Oh, I gotta turn it up. And play. There we go.
All right.
All
And
right.
that's it.
Thanks for listening, guys. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Home. Yeah.
And stay home. Yeah, definitely stay home. We will check in later. Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.